Hi, today's good person to know is Justin Cooke, who was Chief Marketing Officer over at Topshop, only he quit that to start Innovate7. Prior to Topshop, Justin worked for Angela Ahrendts over at Burberry, whom he says is the most inspirational woman you'll ever meet. She has a great vision. She always tries to get the best out of people no matter what position they're in. And she sees the value in everyone and empowers a team to do things they love in their lives and then to make it a reality for the brand. I can see why Justin is such an out-of-the-box thinker thanks to Angela. He gets excited about the simple things that don't have anything to do with the industry that he's working in. He gets a pleasure out of watching commercials, going to museums, going to gallery, anywhere, anything that he can get inspiration from. Justin says it's about using the best out there and delivering that to the customer in a constructive way, because that's what customers have come to expect. I agree. If it works for one industry sector, why can't it work for another? I just love his attitude. He's a very clued up chappie who knows the effectiveness of the various social media platforms. I particularly like the part in his video where he says, "It works exactly as it works for you in your head as a person, and that's how you have to do it." Some days you may be obsessed about Twitter, other days it might be Instagram. It's about the messages on the different platforms, and that's a much more intelligent way of using it. Justin's a really cool guy. He's a massive fan of disruption, as I am, and I couldn't agree more. It's about changing the status quo and mixing it up a little bit. I wish Justin the very best of luck in his new venture, and I hope you enjoy watching this video, and perhaps you can see what surrounds you for inspiration. Go out, go and enjoy the world a little bit, and maybe you may be able to translate that to a customer. Thanks for watching.
I've always been quite entrepreneurial. I left school 18 years old, and I've always just wanted to do things. And I think that's a really important thing. I wanted to inspire the people in my team to think that way. And I send people things that have nothing. All of my references have nothing to do with fashion. I send people things like, look at this Audi commercial. Look at this thing when you go to the cinema. Your ticket gets sent straight to your mobile, and it's like you want to take the best things and the most exciting things and make that relevant to your customer. And I think people don't do that. And so I've actually found my job really easy, because I'm like, well, all these amazing things are going on. Why would we not be using them? And that's the customer's expectation, is that they can do those things. If they can check into their hotel before they arrive and just walk in and pick up their room key, why would they not want a similar experience from a retailer? Or at least to try and improve and evolve. And I said, look, we've got this incredible brand, we've got an amazing show, let's just do something crazy. And so I brought a load of ideas in, and I'm very visual, so I drew what I thought the picture, what the customer would see on Topshop.com on the day of the show, like from the beach on holiday, and sent it to someone who works with me who's just incredible and is somehow able to download all the crazy things in my head. So we used that idea to kind of create a sharing tool, which Facebook built with us, and it basically just created like a wildfire, because anything you were watching in the screen you could touch, and it would automatically share straight into Facebook saying Justin is watching the Topshop show, but you wouldn't leave the experience. And it just made it quite viral. The ability is that I'm able to see something that they don't, because tech companies are very focused on their own technology, and as a result they're not always good at articulating what that could look like to the average person. And so I say to them, okay, well, if we put Topshop in the middle and we become the content, it's also making it relevant. It's like you see some companies trying to force innovation, and I think it's the worst possible scenario. You want to use it if it's relevant, and it just so happens that our customer is so young and so in tune and is behaving in that. It's a disposable world. People download apps and they delete 50% of them, and you want to be tracking at the same speed as them and saying, we like this too, what do you think? And I think people are trying to figure out which one's the best platform, and it doesn't work like that. It works exactly as it works for you in your head as a person, and that's how you have to do it, which is you have days where you're obsessed with Twitter, and you have days where you're obsessed with Instagram, and you have days where you look at all of them. So you've got to think about maybe particular messages on particular platforms. I think that's much more intelligent. You could never really put your finger on the one thing that works, but what you do know is if you do all of it in tandem, it's kind of like subliminal messaging. You're not saying they're going to see all of them, but they're going to see one or two of them. I think like anything in life, you have to do it, and you have to do it with conviction, and you have to believe in it, and you back something, you back it all the way. And that's often part of the thing, is people start stuff and then they stop it. I don't leave any room for failure in my life. It's just not. I think if you cover off every single thing, there's a great David Hockney quote, and he never does interviews, and he did this RCA one, and they asked him the same question. He said, I don't do inquests, I just keep looking forward. If I do a bad picture, I don't know if it's a bad picture or not, I paint them and I paint the next one. I'm a massive disruptor, and I love disruption. I think it's one of the most exciting things in the world, and we're living in the most exciting time ever. You stay kind of aware of what you're doing, keep evaluating, but you've got to have someone looking around the corner for you, you know, because otherwise, before you know, all those people that you brought in to be innovative are just stuck in the system. You know, I think you should go and go to the Natural History Museum or the Bubble Show at the science, just go and see all the different amazing things around you, and you should, read things and learn from other disciplines and other inspirations, because there's so much to take from there.